Hi everyone, it's Christina. I just wanted to introduce you to Sarah, my best friend. She is my why of why I want to get fit, why I want to help people get fit, why I want people to do it the healthy way, don't take any shortcuts. She, um, well, if you already know, she passed away on April 13th, 2013, and her birthday was March 4th, so she had just turned 23. Her husband, the year prior, so 2012 to 2013, he was deployed in Afghanistan with my husband. We all were in the same unit. That's how we all met. And he got back on Valentine's Day. So it was a great, great day for her. They were like puppy dog love kind of couple. They were just perfect for each other. So we were all excited about David coming home. The weekend before he came home, we spent the entire day in Seattle, and we went to Nordstrom Rack, and we went to Nordstrom, and we went to all these high-end places to find the dress for his homecoming, and we ended up finding it at Forever 21. But it was a cute little black dress. I have it. This is a little dress with the bow in the back, just absolutely cute. And that was supposed to be her homecoming dress, and she decided to save it for a date night for David because it was smoking hot on her, and she never got to wear it. And because I had such memories with this dress, David let me keep it, and I would hope one day to Summit or something I could wear this dress in honor of her. But David had bought some pre-workout powder while he was deployed, and not to be wasteful, he brought it home with him because he didn't use it all. Well, when he got home, he asked Sarah to take it with him, and they followed the labels. She took it for her size. She was very petite, very small. My height's 5 foot. Maybe she was an inch taller than me. I doubt it. I think we're right at the same height. And the week she was found on Saturday. So on Wednesday, I was texting her, and she told me she had a migraine, and it was really bad, and it was really hurting her, and she's never had a migraine before. So I told her that she needed to go home, she needed to go lay down in a dark room, possibly turn off her cell phone, just quiet, ease her eyes, just sleep it off. Take some Excedrin migraine. That's what my family always took when they had migraines. And so I texted her on Thursday, and she said that she was not feeling any better, that she was probably going to be skipping school. And that was pretty big for her if she was going to skip school. She was about to get her bachelor's in accounting. So she decided to skip school. She got sent home from work. I was texting her about hot yoga because I wanted to check it out, and she said that she didn't want to because it was scary. So I was texting her all these Groupon coupons, and there was one that was like right down the road from her apartment. So I was like, "We're going, no choice. I'm buying you the ticket." And she never responded. Friday came around. I texted her to see how she was doing, and she never responded either. And it was Friday night. Friday nights were girl nights and drunk cooking nights. So she would go hang out with some other friends, usually on Friday nights, and then I'd see her on Saturdays. So I assumed it was 7 o'clock. She was already up with her friends, and I would hear from her later. And so Saturday morning came around, and I hadn't heard from her, and I was like, okay, I'll text her later. David calls about noon, and he's like, hey, have you seen Sarah? Is she with you? I was like, no, she's not at my house. I'd like her to be, if you can tell her to come over. And he's like, no, I'm out of town. Okay, so with the military, when you come home from a deployment, you get 3-4 weeks off, for vacation. Sarah was so in school, she didn't want to miss school, so she was flying to Texas every weekend and then flying back for school that week. Well, this weekend, she decided she was going to stay and do her homework. He was in, I think, Alabama. We're all from Texas. So he was in Alabama seeing some childhood friends. So he's calling me. He can't get a hold of Sarah, and that is unusual. She is there on the phone. The first ring, she's answering the phone call. She'll ignore everybody just to answer the phone from David. you know, puppy dog love, I'm telling you. Like, storybook, movie love. So he's like, well, she's not answering my phone calls. Red flag. I immediately get off the couch and I'm in the process of putting on my shoes, like my flip flops, and grabbing my keys. And I was like, David, I'm heading to the apartment right now. I'm going to go see if she's there. And he's like, okay, well, I thought it was really strange. So I was like, I'll call you when I get there. I hang up. My husband's like, why are you leaving? I was like, she never misses a phone call from David. And she's missed him for all night and all today. No. So I get in the truck and I leave. And it's about 10 miles from my house. She had just moved back into her old apartment, so she was further away than she was during the deployment. And I am calling my mom, asking her, what should I do? She says, I need to call the hospitals. So I'm like trying to get the ER for our hospital on base. And I can't find it as I'm like, texting and driving. I shouldn't have done it, but I just in my gut knew something was wrong. And I'm calling Sara, and I'm like, Sara, you need to call David. He's very concerned. You need to call him. I was leaving her all these voicemails, and I get about halfway there, and David calls me back, and he's in tears. And he's like crying. He's like, something's wrong. You need to get there. Please get there. At the time, I was driving a Dodge Ram 1500, and I floored that truck. I was driving in the medians. I was going to honk at anybody who tried to cut me off. I was going over 60 and a 35. I was just flooring it. And I was panicking. I called Sean, my husband. He was telling me to calm down. I came up to a red light. It was like the last red light I needed to hit. And it turned red on me, and there was just too much traffic. I was going to run it. I was going to turn. I didn't want to get a ticket and get pulled over and stall. I didn't want to have a wreck. So I stopped. I had this slow person in front of me the rest of the way to the apartment, and it took forever. And I get there, and this other friend, who was friends with the husband, David, and his name is David, he showed up, and he was at the apartment, and there was Sarah's car parked. And David was running out of the apartment. Like, she lived on the first floor, but she had to go down to get to her apartment. So he's coming up the stairs, and I throw my truck in park. I don't know why I thought to, remember to grab my keys, my wallet, and my phone. But that was my 3 things I always make sure I have with me. Grab my 3 things, and I left my truck parked in the middle of that parking lot. Like, nobody could get around me the way I was parked. And he comes up to me, and he's like, do you know CPR? And my mind, froze. Personality-wise, I froze. I went into kind of Army training mode. I was, we're trained for lightsaber. So I knew the basics of CPR. I knew I could at least try to help. So I sprinted my way down those stairs, and I got to the doorway, and he says, I started turning to go towards, you walk in, and there's, you go this way for her bedroom, and the other bedroom, and the bathroom, and then you go this way for the kitchen and the living room. So I start going to her bedroom. He's like, no, she's on the living room floor. I turn around the corner, and there she is face down on the floor in front of her couch. And I run up to her, and I'm screaming her name, and David Bonney is on the phone with 911, and he's talking to the paramedics, and he didn't touch her. I guess he doesn't know CPR. He was alarmed by what she was wearing, so he didn't touch her. So that's when he asked me. So I went down to her and I touched her, and she was cold. It felt like touching her laptop, your computer, just hard plastic. Just I don't know how long she had been there. They said she had passed that morning, most likely. I tried rolling her over, and I guess what they call dead weight. I couldn't move her. She was just stiff as a board and heavy. I don't know how she got so heavy so quick. I couldn't roll her over. David Bonney had to pull me off of her, and that's when I kind of checked out. I remember screaming and crying into the carpet right next to her because I couldn't get to her. The paramedic showed up, confirmed that she had passed. David Bonney was able to get a maintenance guy to open the door. That's how we got in. police showed up, that's when I realized, when we were leaving, he was like, "What about Riley?" which is her dog. That's when I realized he was raising hell, barking. I didn't hear a single bark this entire time. Like, I was just focused on her. Scooped him up. He's a miniature Australian Shepherd. Scooped him in my arms, and we left the apartment and waited for the police and the paramedics to show up. And they showed up, and they confirmed that she had passed, and I passed the phone to David. I was literally a second away from telling him myself. I had got him to pull over at least, because he was heading to the airport in Alabama. So, after that, we did a report. I got in my truck. My truck was moved by David, and had my first accident. I backed completely into a car. I promise you, I checked my mirror, I checked my mirror, I checked my mirror. I turned around, and backed into a car. That was my first accident, my only accident. No damage to my truck. Smashed the crap out of the bumper of that car, though. Drove to the pet store, got food for Riley, and went home. David flew in that night, and I went to go pick him up from the airport, and from that night on, he moved in with us. I don't blame him. It took months to find out what happened. What it concluded to be was, when David got home, when any of the boys got home, we started our birth control again. We don't take it while they're gone. We're faithful women. We don't cheat on our husbands, so we didn't, why take our birth control? So the boys came home, we started our birth control again. So she had started her birth control, and on top of taking that protein powder, it caused blood clots in her brain, which explains the migraine. And she, later I talked to her employers, and they said that on Friday her hand was going numb. She couldn't hold a pencil. She, so they sent her home. She couldn't do her job. She was an accountant. She couldn't hold a pencil. We did see on her phone she had tried calling the appointment line at her hospital and then hung up after about a minute. I don't know why. I wish she had told me she was feeling that bad. Our last conversation, she was joking about teaching Riley how to cook for her. So I thought she was feeling good. She was joking with me. But the medical examiner did confirm it was the birth control and the pre-workout powder that caused the blood clots. And, if she was in pain on Wednesday and passed on Saturday, it took, a couple days. So I went into a dark place for a couple months. I gained 25 pounds in 2 months out of my grief. Then I got pregnant with number 2, which, he's a blessing. He's very happy, very carefree, very much like Sara, and apparently like me as a baby, but very happy. Sara was very, very happy. But my passion now is to help people get fit the right way, with healthy products, hard work. Don't take shortcuts. Pre-workout powders are fine. I don't personally take any until I can do some extensive research before I put anything in my body. The only thing I do let as supplement-wise in my body is the Shakeology, because it's all natural. There's no chemicals. I want to prevent this from happening again. I don't want another husband to lose a wife, or a spouse to lose each other, a mother to have to bury her child because of a stupid product that, none of these supplements are regulated by the, FDA, but we shouldn't be putting crap and chemicals and man-made processed shit into our bodies that could potentially kill us. Why do that to anybody? And I just don't want that to happen to anybody else. And so I just wanted to share this. This is Sara. This was a canvas print that was given out at her funeral. David gave me a copy. Here's another one of her prom dress that she always talked about. pink and sparkly and big, and her tiara. She loved her tiara. Um, she was buried in that tiara, actually. She loved it that much. But, there is a face to this. I'm not just bullshitting you to scare you. I'm not making up lies, to bash a company. We lost, somebody very dear to us, and it could have been preventable. If I had known what I know now, then I would have told her, no, don't take that, throw it away, flush it down the toilet, tell David to stop taking it. But hindsight's 2020, right? But this video is now almost 16 minutes long, and I'm sorry about that, but I really wanted to share this story. I would probably refer to Sara a lot, and I might make another video about her, but it's only my second video, so thank you for bearing with me. It is now over 16 minutes long, so I will end this. But please, if you have any questions or concerns or anything, leave a comment with me. But if you notice something's going on with your body that is not normal, or you're feeling bad, go see a doctor. It's not worth saving the money of your appointment and losing your life. Go see somebody if you're feeling ill or feeling bad. You never know what it is. So, thank you, and good night, everybody.